Hey.
Alright, so NBA fans are finally treated to some breaking news during this long drought of an offseason, when on Tuesday it was announced that the Nuggets officially extended Aaron Gordon to a 4-year, $88 million extension. And although this isn't an all-star player or just a huge needle mover by any means, this move does actually hold huge implications for the Denver Nuggets just as an organization. Because it's no secret that Denver is not one of the bigger markets in the NBA, so to see ownership be willing to go out and spend this money because there's going to be more in the future as well, overall it's just a great sign for the team, the fans, everyone involved. Ultimately, it just means that ownership is trusting the Denver Nuggets to go out and win games and compete for a championship, because that's what the NBA is all about at the end of the day. And just to serve as a quick reminder, I'll give you a quick recap of the Nuggets' current salary cap situation. Nikola Jokic has 2 more years of making just a little bit over $30 million before he most likely signs a supermax. Totally deserved, by the way. Jamal Murray is entering year 2 of his 5-year, $169 million extension that he signed a couple of years ago. Obviously, Aaron Gordon just received his 4-year, $88 million extension that will kick in next season. And Michael Porter Jr. is currently in the last year of his rookie deal, and assuming he takes the big leap for the season that he is supposed to take, he'll also probably be commanding a lot of money for his extension. Overall, there's a pretty good chance that the Denver Nuggets will have 4 players making more than $20 million in the year either 2024 or 2025, just depending on the little minute details here and there for some of the contracts. But either way, that would be absolutely insane, again, for a team like Denver that is not a big market. But another reason why this signing is big for the Nuggets is that it almost ensures that they're going to continue to be true contenders in the NBA for the title for the near future. And I say this because based on how last season ended for the Nuggets, it's fair to say that them being true contenders in the near future was a very, very serious question. For some brief history, going into last year's trade deadline, the Nuggets were in 5th place in the Western Conference with a 26-18 record. They then traded for Aaron Gordon, shoring up their forward position after losing Jeremy Grant in the previous offseason. And the immediate reaction from the deal was great. They went on to win their next 8 games. But then 2 games after that, their season collapsed in on itself after Jamal Murray tore his ACL, ending his season and knocking him out of at least the start of the next season. From then on, we all know the story. The Nuggets just continue to scrap away, get some wins here and there. They win their first round series against the Portland Trail Blazers, but they eventually just run out of firepower in the second round against the eventual Western Conference champion Phoenix Suns. Not to mention, again, their rising star guard is going to be out for at least 9 months. Aaron Gordon only has 1 more year left on his deal, and Will Barton was a free agent. Not a whole lot of things looking good for the Nuggets. But fast forward to today, and we all know that things have settled down. Things are looking to be on the up for the Denver franchise. Looking at those same 3 storylines, Jamal Murray is already back doing basketball activities and will most likely be back and healthy at some point late in the season. Will Barton re-signed for 2 more years, and Aaron Gordon is also locked in for 4 more years. But I think it's really important to point out that for that really short stretch of games where the Nuggets were at full health, they looked like a team that was firing on all cylinders and just ultimately looked like a very true contender that could have gone up against any other team in the league and won. In fact, even if you look past the Murray season-ending injury, the Nuggets were actually 19-6 in regular season games where Aaron Gordon played throughout the second half of the season, which compared to the Nuggets' full record of 47-25, there obviously is a decent amount of difference between the 2 records. So in my opinion, even with the current state of the Denver Nuggets as they're rehabbing from a lot of injuries, I think they should still be considered one of the top teams in the Western Conference and just in the league in general. They still have the reigning MVP, Nikola Jokic, who, at least this past season, made it a point and proved it to me that he's able to go out and carry a team during the regular season. I mean, at this point in his career, he's pretty much a lock for 25, 10, and 7. He's one of the most durable stars that the league has today. I'd be pretty shocked to see the Denver Nuggets slide past the 6th seed at the most, but even then, I think that's a bit extreme. Not to mention, Will Barton has not gotten enough credit for the role he's played in Denver so far, just as that tertiary scoring option, although, I mean, he's even like a 4th scoring option at some lineups. But either way, he is a great off-ball threat, great catch-and-shoot guy, great catch-and-drive guy. He's really fun to watch and very underrated on this Nuggets team. And of course, a lot of people are pegging Michael Porter Jr. to take a huge leap this year. Obviously, he took the huge leap last year, but now he has no Jamal Murray in front of him for at least part of the season. He's likely going to be taking the second most shots on this team behind Nikola Jokic. Probably will have some nights where he takes the most shots on the team. But that's okay because he's just a ridiculous scorer already. But going even deeper, part of me feels like the NBA fans in general are doubting the Nuggets because of their poor playoff performance last season, but I just don't see how that's a case. In fact, I thought it was pretty impressive that they were able to handle the Portland Trailblazers, albeit in 6 games, pretty handedly considering what their roster was looking like during that series. Because their depth was completely shot, especially at the guard position. It wasn't just Jamal Murray that was out, but Will Barton was missing too, as well as PJ Dozier, which is 3 guards. I mean, just look at what their starting lineup was for 90% of their playoff games. They had Facu Campazzo, Austin Rivers in the backcourt to go with the Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Jokic regular frontcourt. Anyway though, as we again look forward to next season, obviously there's a full offseason for their players to get healthy. Barton will be back, Dozier will be back, Murray again might take a bit more time, but it's going to be a very nice and welcomed reset for the Nuggets. Not to mention they also made a bunch of great additions this offseason as well. They drafted Bones Highland just to help shore up that guard rotation, although I'd imagine Highland could probably play some wing as well. But simply put, he was just one of the best scoring prospects in his entire class. He even lit up the Summer League in the few games that he played in, so he should definitely be a very exciting watch, especially if you get some time with Nikola Jokic. Then they also added Jeff Green just to be another glue guy on this roster who can play both the wing position and some small ball 5 whenever Jokic isn't on the floor. And staying on that topic of when Nikola Jokic isn't on the floor, that is where my one remaining concern is for this Nuggets roster. And it's nothing big, you know, it's really nothing to get worked up about, but it is something that is just a bit confusing to me right now because they really have a lack of depth at the center position on their roster. You know, last year for the playoffs, they had JaVale McGee. Before that, they had Isaiah Hartenstein, who was also pretty solid. But again, just looking at the current roster, there's no centers listed outside of Bull, which I'm not going to count as a backup center for Jokic. Because outside of that, they have JaMychal Green, who's capable of playing some 5. Aforementioned Jeff Green can play some 5, but they're missing that big, brolic archetype center who they usually have to back up Jokic in case of foul trouble or he misses a game or something. You get what I'm saying. But again, it's just a minor issue, just a tiny little pet peeve when I look at this roster, just because I thought they'd address it before the season starts, but now the days just keep on passing and they're yet to sign a true backup center, so I'm just a little confused. Outside of that though, the main key for this roster is that the Nuggets just need to get healthy and stay healthy. I think it's safe to say that a lot of people joined me in hoping that this Nuggets era wouldn't just be another flash in the pan of endless, good NBA teams that had a chance, especially after their 2020 Western Conference final run, but they've done an absolutely outstanding job this offseason of making sure that that's not the case in this scenario. Because again, just to take one more look at this roster, Jamal Murray should have enough time to be effective by the time playoffs come around. Will Barton and Aaron Gordon are locked in for at least a couple more years to ensure the wing spots. There's a whole bunch of young talent on this roster now too, especially with Michael Porter Jr., who is ready for a huge breakout season. Monte Morris, who is one of my personal favorite backup point guards in the league. He's awesome. PJ Dozier is another backup point guard who is just also awesome. And now they have Bones Highland, who just has an awesome name and is an awesome scorer. And there's so much guard talent on this team when they're healthy that, I mean, to see their depth, again, just to go back to the playoffs again, the fact that they lost pretty much everyone in their guard rotation was absurd and probably, hopefully, won't happen again. And plus, at the end of the day, they have Nikola Jokic, reigning MVP. I don't think I have to say anything else about him. Again, just going back to last season, when they were all healthy, they truly did look like one of the best teams in the league, and I really hope NBA fans don't get robbed of that at some point in the near future. Hope for the Nuggets to get healthy and hope for them to get on the court together, because at the least, they'll be one of the most fun teams to watch and just most entertaining teams to watch in the entire league. And if you've made it to this point in the video, then congratulations, you're a real one. Now, if you enjoyed this video, maybe think about hitting the subscribe button. Should be somewhere in this general direction. Or if you're not sure yet, maybe check out another video which should be in this general direction. Either way, thank you for watching.